Season 3, here we come, bitches!
Good morning. We have a very big day today of boat work and I'm super excited about it. Oh, my son is trying to lasso me. One sec. Talking to our friends on YouTube. Come here, let me wipe your nose. Sorry about that. I'm back. Between potty training and William and I both having colds, we've been sick. We've been working on the boat in any spare moments we have. Chris has been back for only a week and we've already been to the boat, I think like 4 times now. But for significant periods of time to do some big sort of pre-planning for the projects that we're going to be working on today and tomorrow and possibly Sunday. Chris is feeling a teensy bit overwhelmed. He messaged me today to ask me if I would be able to unbox our new water bladder so that I can take a look and see if we need to give it a wash before we put it into the boat. So currently this is all of our boat stuff kind of stacked up here against the wall. These are the new V-Berth mattresses that we have cut and tried, and they do fit nicely. And that is something I'm working on right now, which is to make covers for them. A mattress cover. And this is the water bladder. All right, let's open it up. Okay. Oh, you got your scissors?
Yeah.
Okay. So why are we replacing our water tank? Well, for one thing, the water tank is pretty old. And for another thing, we'd like to move it to the other side of the boat. So we're gonna try it, but the reason we need a bladder and not a solid tank is because the space that we're trying to put it into is kind of uneven. I'm doing the best I can, but this box is weirdly taped. Okay.
Okay, let's open it up. Whoa, look at that.
Medication. This is just our.
Yeah.
This is just our invoice. Before reusing the tank for the first time, at the beginning of each season, fill it up with a solution of water and 5% vinegar and rinse thoroughly. No way we're gonna be able to fill this all up, so I think we're gonna do most of this in the spring. So I think we'll just install it, and then in the spring when we fill it up, we'll fill it up and do the vinegar thing then, which, I mean, I don't know why I didn't just do that anyway, but it's been pre-rinsed, so by the time spring comes, it should be extra clean for our water. You excited to go to Grandma and Grandpa's?
I can't open my door.
What, do you want to get out of the car? It's kind of cold out there.
I can't get a radical it outside.
Okay. During Chris's work trip, I had come to work on my own project in the V-Berth. See, this is the problem with doing boat work on the hard, is if all your tools are in the boat and you forget one, you gotta go back up the ladder. Also, you gotta bring all the pieces that you need up every time, and you can only take so much safely. Also, right now, because it's tarped, it's a bit of a pain in the butt, and all the wires and stuff I need keeping this closed so that I keep the heat in. You know, all that stuff I can complain about. Okay, I need a square. I'm all by myself. Chris is on another work trip, and my son is with the grandparents. So I have got like time to do a few things on the boat. In the V-berth, I want to do a shiplap backing for this wall here. So I'm going to try and figure out that right now. I've got to take off all the little pieces of things and measure how much wood I actually need to bring up the ladder. Pretty nice. I think this is glued on. So this is probably overkill, but I'm gonna try and chisel it off because I cannot get it off. Oh, did I do it? Amazing. Come on. Take it all off. I need like Goo Gone. See, this is the kind of bullshit that holds up a project. Alright, we'll be back after these brief messages. Welcome back to the show. I haven't made a lot of progress. I did get this part scraped, and I've gotten the first board to be where I want it. Having a hard time figuring out what I was going to do with the light because I have no experience putting up shiplap, none, and I have none of, well, some of the proper tools, but mostly not. So I ended up turning off the power to the cabin lights so that I could unscrew the light, and I just traced the shape, and I'm gonna cut it out, and that's how I'm gonna get the correct circle, and the place where I want it, I will have to just measure it out and be as close and exact as I possibly can be. Because if it's off even just a little bit, the whole board will not work. So this was not a quick task. This job is a lot more involved than I had thought it was going to be, but it always is. This is why you always measure more than once, and in my case probably should measure like 10 times before I do anything. But as I was measuring it, I realized that I think the way I have the first board back, they're gonna slot in together like that, right? So I need to take into account this piece here, this little tiny lip here, because that's actually where I should be measuring from. And I also did it upside down. So this hole needs to go down here and probably way further over now because I had to flip it over. Good thing I have an eraser. I mean, I'm gonna paint these eventually anyhow. Like they're all just primed. But what a pain. I've also never used one of these before. I've seen Chris use it, so sorry Chris, I'm playing with your tools and I hope that I'm using them correctly. I am woman. Hear me roar. That's amazing. Okay. Now I've got to figure out how to do this part, and I'm kind of dreading that. So basically, I ended up calling my father-in-law and asking him for his advice because he's done carpentry for many a year. And originally we were talking about kind of making a little jig or whatever, but he said, oh, if it's going to be that thin at the end, you might want to just do it with paper and sort of get your paper up there and then trace along. I think that's what he told me. remember that those screws go with that? Probably not. Hi. Oh, I'm a mess right now. Woohoo. You are next. This part looks kind of janky over here. I'm hoping I can maybe slot a little piece in there. And once I've painted it, maybe it'll look a little bit better. It was really hard to cut that without having like the proper tool. I did it. I think I'm gonna add some trim pieces to hide my like bad cuts. The outside's a lot better than the inside. But it's not horrible. Like up here, I think I did a pretty good job. And I think it's really pretty. This one is really hard to get. So I put the shiplap up upside down, because that's what I do. I do everything backwards for some reason, which is making it difficult because the nails that I put in, I want now to set them. And first of all, I didn't get the proper nails for it because the lady at the store recommended these painted ones to me. So these are a little harder to set anyways. But now also just the way where things are sticking out, it's hard for me to get them in there. So that's what I'm working on right now. That one is particularly challenging. Just because of the angle and how rounded the top of the nail is. I did get a few of them set though. You can zoom in on the ones I got set.
I'm not interested in those ones.
I'm gonna work on this one. It's cold.
Yes, we are waiting for the furnace to turn on, but it only turns on when the battery gets to a certain charge. So we always spend the first like 2 hours
Freezing
of boat work just waiting for the batteries to charge enough to turn on the furnace. So it actually works. I just say,
I was gonna say, I'm not waiting, I'm doing things.
I complain about being cold until it turns on, and then as soon as it's on, we work for about half an hour and then start packing up because it's time to go.
Part of coming here though is to charge the batteries and heat the boat up every once in a while. So even if that's all we accomplish, at least it's a thing, right?
Yeah. Can you turn that off?
I was just about to be like, yay, the heat's on! And then as soon as I turned on the camera, the heat turned off again. You cold?
I'm not cold.
I'm warm. Do you want to hammer for a little bit?
No.
Sure?
Mm-hmm. Just want to be a sad sack until I'm warm.
Well, it's going to be real fun for me. It won't be fun.
It's pretty strong.
That means nothing. We have all the lights off, and I've turned off anything that's using power because I think that this thing is a princess and it needs all the power it can possibly have.
All the juice.
Like most princesses. It craves power. It might just be me. I don't know. It was warm though.
It's blowing hot air.
It was blowing warm air, but I didn't like switch over to like. That's warm air. But it still needs to switch over to the actual fan. I think that's the thing that maybe needs the most power is the fan. I don't know. I know very little about boats. The things I know about boats would shock you.
Same.
We're big fat failures. We're in the car. trying to thaw our toes and fingers. The heater did not go on. I think it's just been so cold that the batteries are just not responding. That's our assumption. I hope that we checked and saw that there was diesel in the tank, so it's not that. And diesel was coming through the line, but it still didn't turn on. So now we're gonna chill in the car, and I'm gonna do some YouTube editing, and Chris is gonna do some electrical research while we wait and see if we can charge up the batteries just a wee bit more, because we have to come back tomorrow and do a whole bunch of work, and cannot work if it's this cold. So Chris has gone in to test the heater. We've been sitting in the car now for about 40 minutes getting a little bit of work done, some studying on electrical, some YouTube editing, but I don't know, still waiting to hear whether or not the heater turns on, because there's no point in both of us going up the ladder if it's just gonna be frozen up there. Oh, we got our splash-in day. We're gonna be splashing in on April 13th, lucky number 13. Actually, it is Chris and I's lucky number. We got married on Friday the 13th. Anyways, we're getting splashed in April 13th. So splash-in is on the 13th. Very excited. Right now it is currently February 17th. Oh, Chris is coming back. I'm guessing no joy. What a supremely disappointing day. Chris got a half day today so that we could do some work and get started. I mean, they have half days sometimes at his work. Anyways, we took advantage of it so that we could get some work done today. The only thing that got done was putting those nails in. Oh, and we put the bladder in the bilge. I'll show you here. We put the bladder in the bilge to see if it was going to work. And it's a bit big. It's a bit big. So anyways, bit of a disappointing day. I think it's the battery. I think that's why the furnace won't start, is the battery is just so cold, and our charger is just like pulling in like 4 watts an hour or something like that. So it's just not charging fast enough. And then every time you try to start the furnace, you literally burn through everything that's in the battery trying to do that. So tomorrow our game plan is to come at like 8, plug in the battery, go and get something to eat, come back, and then try it after it's had an hour to charge. You know, not everything is going to go smoothly sometimes. Not everything is going to go smoothly sometimes. So this is just part of boat work in Canada in the middle of the winter. But I am really looking forward to the next couple months as things start to warm up so that boat work can be done a little bit easier. Good morning. This is take 2 of trying to get some work done on the boat. We're on our way back to Mr. Turtle. We actually had a wonderful sleep. We all slept through the night, which is actually unheard of. So I'm pretty like raring to go for boat work.